is facing the biggest pandemic since the Spanish flu of 1918. Remember that?
No!
Me neither. For some of us, this COVID-19 epidemic will be about anxiously contemplating our new workout regime, streaming endless content from the internet, and definitely overeating from boredom. For others, it will be about suffering, starvation, violence, and death. Seriously, it will be creepy. The world is freaking out. Are bats evil? Is it the pangolins' fault? Really, who fucked up? According to the World Health Organization, disease emergence may be viewed as an evolutionary response to novel environments. What is that supposed to mean? Since we don't fuck around, let's go back 10,000 years. 10,000 years, you heard it right. 10,000 years ago, mankind started to domesticate animals. The first ones were goats. However, along with the animals came disease. We got smallpox from camels, measles from cows, influenza from ducks, and many others. In their original environment, these microorganisms had a symbiotic relationship with animals. They lived inside them, but they didn't kill their hosts. Only once we disturbed those ecosystems, what we call disease started to emerge. And it doesn't stop there. We built cities and farms which scared away predators. Because of that, mice spread through towns, and ticks came with them. But we've had it worse before. The Black Plague of the 14th century killed 75 to 200 million people, only in Eurasia. Outbreaks recurred until the early 20th century. It was basically 600 years of fear. We worked on it. Vaccines, running water, and toilets really helped. Science discovered the importance of hygiene for our health. By the 50s, we conquered most of the diseases of the time. Measles, smallpox, polio, we beat them all. For decades, we outsmarted bacteria. And then came the 70s. Cities grew bigger and fuller since the turning of the century. And now that we finally had money in the pocket, we all wanted meat, milk, eggs, and cheese. More money, more honey, baby.
It's finger licking good!
And that was when factory farming was invented. Factory farming changed the surface of the planet. Over time, around 2 million factory farms were built. It became the world's largest business, taking up to 35% of the world's habitable land. We already know that, according to the World Health Organization, disease emergence may be viewed as an evolutionary response to novel environments. How many diseases could emerge out of such dramatic changes? A lot. A lot did.
This shit is too boring. It needs a wrap. In 1976, swine flu was pulling the tricks. Not to leave you at ease, we got mad cow disease. Equine encephalitis erupted in the 90s. SARS, MERS.
SARS, MERS, SARS, MERS.
That's it.
Those diseases varied in their deadliness, but none were super contagious. What could happen if a disease was deadly and highly contagious? Something like the Spanish flu of 1918. That pandemic was one of the great mysteries of the 20th century. Many theories try to explain the origin of the virus. Mostly they focused on where, but they forget something more important. How did it happen? World War I forced soldiers to live in inhumane conditions. Injury and sickness, overcrowded transportation, damp and dirty trenches. Conditions similar to those of the times of the Black Plague. According to Dr. Michael Greger,
this harmless virus found itself in these kind of conditions that turned deadly. Millions forced together into cramped quarters, no escaping a sick comrade. This is thought to be where the virus of 1918 gained its virulence. From the virus's point of view, though, these same trench warfare conditions exist today.
Similar conditions exist in the wet markets in Wuhan, where COVID-19 started. Pangolins, bats, snakes, and other animals were taken away from their original habitats and stacked in cages. The ecosystem where they existed was exterminated, and the microorganisms which coexisted with them in a stable way were forced to spread and mutate to survive the new conditions. Everybody is concerned about wet markets and the weird animals people eat. But is that our main issue? What about factory farms? In factories, animals live in cages with no sunlight, no fresh air, no room to move. They're constantly fed antibiotics because they're often sick. This causes microorganisms to mutate and become even stronger. When a disease spreads in factory farms, how many could be infected? All, including people. We forget, but we are submitted to the same biological rules. We're also animals. When we buy meat, we support this system, which is generating disease. It's time for us to think about our eating habits before something more deadly than COVID-19 emerges.